Before any shore, the deep roared in darkness, waves speaking thunder to empty night. Impatient, Noah worked by the rising sea, trusting a promise as wind hardened and gulls fled. Rain battered the ark. Noah, with Shem and Ham and Japheth, clung to rails against fury, praying. Night erased the horizon. The ark climbed black water, while lightning chained the sky. Dawn thinned. A dove wheeled above gray swells as the ark rose and fell on long rollers, guided. Moses faced the Red Sea with staff in hand, while Israel trembled at the roaring surf and pursuit. The sea lifted into crystal roads. Israel hurried, between living walls alive with fish and trembling light. Chariots thundered after them, bronze flaring, as the water corridor leaned and roared. The walls collapsed and buried the chase. Wind fell as Moses lowered the staff. Miriam raised a tambourine. Women danced while breakers boomed like victory drums. Jonah boarded at Joppa under rising cloud. The harbor slapped warnings on the hull. Far out, ropes screamed, sails split, and crests hammered the deck of the heaving ship. The lot named Jonah. Hands lifted him to the rail as a towering wave paused above. Jonah plunged beneath foam. A great fish surged, and the storm erased his footprints. In the belly, Jonah prayed. Dim water light slid over ribs while thunder marched. The fish drove for shore and expelled Jonah into cold surf. Sand held him fast. David stood on a cliff. Waters raged below while his psalm wrestled flood and heart. Another psalm answered. Floods lifted their voice, yet the Maker sat above the spray. Sailors reeled. The ship climbed to the sky, then dropped to the roots of the sea. Job recalled the one who set bars for the ocean and said, "This far, no farther." On Galilee, Peter and Andrew worked wet nets as wind sharpened and lamps jittered against the mast. The squall became a beast. James and John bailed, while Jesus slept on a cushion. Jesus rose to the gale. One word stilled the tantrum of water and lungs of wind. The lake turned to glass. Wonder filled the boat as starlight stitched the calm. Before dawn, Jesus walked the ridges of the sea. Fear froze the crew until he neared the boat. Peter stepped out. A sudden trough swallowed courage and seized his ankles. Jesus caught Peter and climbed in. The wind folded, and ripples laid down like cloth over wood. On the Gadarene slope, a herd rushed mad for freedom and vanished in pounding waves. Later on Tiberias, Peter hurled himself into the chop and swam toward a beach fire. On the Mediterranean, Euroclydon mauled the ship. Paul steadied hearts and lines. At Malta, the keel tore. Soldiers and sailors tumbled into thunder and clung to planks. Cold and coughing, survivors crawled ashore. Breakers hurled them forward and withdrew again and again. On Patmos, John watched the Aegean rave under lightning as a greater vision pressed. At last, a sea of glass appeared, mingled with fire. Judgment passed, and holy calm spread.